Here at Lens Crackers, we can crack your fine, high-quality eyewear in less than an hour. Our trained technicians use only the best equipment to crack your fine quality eyewear. So remember, Lens Crackers, we can crack them in less than an hour.
Here at Northwest Airlines, you can fly cheaper than any other airline in the industry. We've got the oldest planes in the industry. That makes it cheaper. We've also gone to the trouble of bilking your local government out of hundreds of millions of dollars. This also makes your airfare cheaper. Remember, Northwest Airlines, the cheapest way to fly.
Yes, Lens Crackers and Northwest Airlines, two of our longtime sponsors. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going on a quest for truth together. Alrighty, Aphrodite. Well, here we are. It's, what is it? Wednesday. Wednesday. That's the way it's spelled. Wednesday. Wednesday, they call it, even though it's spelled Wednesday. And so there we are, middle of the week, as you might say. Some people say something a little off, but this is a family show for our whole cosmic family. So alrighty then, well, let's get rolling here, shall we, with our fine viewers over there on Chatlandia. Chatlandia is a wonderful place on the intro web, and it's over there somewhere on the far corners of the internet, and where people can watch the show live and actually make comments, and it appears here on the screen right here. Look at that. Oops. See? And what's this? Skylark says Northwest Airlines, where the fuselage fits to burn. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah, when I did that commercial, Northwest Airlines, I lived in Minnesota at the time. That's where they were based. And Al Checky just took it over. And he promised there was going to be this big build out up north where there was no jobs. They were going to build a massive rebuilding facility. He's out there with a shovel, and they gave him all of the money that Minnesota had earmarked for new businesses for the year for one company, Northwest Airlines, and they never built it. They never ever built it. I could have told you that. I knew what was going on even way back in the 90s, early 90s, and even before that. Well, let's go over to Chatlandia, like I just said a little while ago. Shall we? Oops, not that one. That one. So many buttons. So many buttons. Chatlandia. Oh, that's the wrong button. There it is. Chatlandia. Here we go. And look, it's Weiss123. That's Catherine Weiss. She's one of our ultra mods. And she says, hi, Aaron. And then she also says, I'll be over on YouTube tonight. And then she also says, hi, Peggy, because she knows she's leaving Rumble and she knows that Peggy will be along shortly. And then I said, hi, Kathy. Okay. And then Kathy says, hi, Aaron, over there on YouTube. And then I said, hello, Truth Questers, on the portrait version of the YouTube show. So weird. They got two different versions, same show. Same censoring. They don't censor on Rumble. If you want to watch the whole show uninterrupted by whatever they want to keep people from seeing, watch it on Rumble, the free speech platform. And then Kathy says, no, I said, hi, Kathy, over there on YouTube. And then Peggy's over on YouTube on the portrait channel. And she says, hi, Aaron. Hi, Weiss at Weiss123. Kathy, I'll be on Rumble. All right. And she's another one of our Ultramods. We got Kathy, Ultramod, Peggy, Ultramod. So we got two Ultramods. And look who's here now. Why, it's Skylark74. Greetings, fellow Truth Questers. And then I said, hi, Peggy. Okay. And then I said, hiya, Skylark74. And then Skylark74 says, now I'm going downrange of strange, where outrageous becomes contagious and where the paranormal is the new normal. Oh, yes. Yes, you are. And then Cap78 Pack says, hi, Aaron. Hi, Weiss123. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Skylark74. And I said to Skylark, yes, you are, Skylark74. And then Skylark says, hello, Catherine. Hello, Peggy. Hello, Aaron. Isn't that nice? And Kathy says, hi, Skylark74. And then Cap78 Pack, Peggy Dancer says, saw this sticker on a liberal's car. Hey, my daughter is the best son I could wish for. Oh my, LOL. Yeah, he's going to have a lot of problems that born sons don't have. So there's that. And then Kathy says, hi, Aaron, over on it's on the portrait on YouTube. Okay. I only went over there and said, hi, Truth Questers. That's all I did over there. Catherine also says, hi, Peggy, over there on YouTube. Oh, and look who's here. Why, it's Operation Shutdown. Northwest Airlines would be the best airline today. Yeah. Best and worst. I think you're right. Good to see you, buddy. I got to say hi. I got to cruise over here and say hi. At up. And it should pop up. There it is. A couple of exclamation points. And there you go. And Skylark says Northwest Airlines, like it's a bratwurst airlines, where the fuselage fits in a bun. I get it now. I see the spelling twist you had there. Interesting, excellent, or like they might say, egg slant. And then Kathy says, hi, Operation Shutdown. Alrighty, Aphrodite, says Operation Shutdown. It's good to see that some of my little slogans are catching on out there in the greater wilds out there in the intranet. And Operation Shutdown says, hello, Catherine Weiss. And then Operation Shutdown says, because we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. You got that right. That's awesome. Oh, and Joey Owanborn, Iowa born, Joe Iowa born says, let me highlight that. A new watcher, welcome to the program, says, is there no one ever told you that you kind of look like Link from Link and the Ret? Never heard of him. I can't say that anyone has said that. People tell me I look like a lot of people. I do Elvis impersonations, if that's any clue, but I I do that, and people said I look like a lot of different people, but I mostly look like myself. That's what I found. Welcome to the program, Joe. And Skylark says, part of Northwest Kibasa Group. Yeah, that's good. I like that. And I said, hi, Operation Shutdown. Then Operation Shutdown says, hello, Aaron. And then Rose Thistle Art. Good to see you, Rose Thistle Art. And she says, Skylark74, hi. Have you ever heard of Barry Littleton? I think you and him would have amazing conversations. Oh, and Rose Thistle Art, I want to thank you for your comment on the last show. And you said a lot of nice things, as you always do. So thank you very much. And by the way, it helps the algorithms if you leave a comment below the show. So feel free, anybody, to do that. You also said that, we all had fun watching those kids on that floating platform out in a lake somewhere or river, and an otter pops up onto it, and the kids all jump off. Then the otter jumps in the water, then the kids jump back on, then the otter jumps on, and the kids jump off again. And I'm thinking, why are they so afraid of a friendly little fun-loving otter? But Rose Thistle Art gives a little bit of information on that comment. She says that jaguars' only predator, or one of their only predators, is otters. I guess they have vicious teeth. I don't know if they go out, I'm kind of hankering for some jaguar tail. Or is it, are they getting back at the jaguar for killing some of their people, their otter people? Someone ought to know, but that's amazing. I never would have thought that otters would be dangerous. I would have just walked right up and tried to pet them. Maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe offer them a rock, maybe. And Cap78 Pack says, good one, Skylark. Yeah. And Rose SLR, radiating heart. Hi, everyone. I got to mosey on over there and say hi. Rose Thistle Art. And let's see, what do we got here? It looks like it's Catherine Weiss. Hi, Rose Thistle Art. And then Rose Thistle Art says, hi, Kathy. And Skylark says, I don't know a Barry Littleton. I suppose that is not a cryptoglyph, but is his real name, is he an author? I've never heard of him either. There's a lot of people in this world. And then Cap78 Pack says, hi, Rose Thistle Art. No, but I've heard of Barry Little John, because he's my gynecologist. I always thought they should call them girl gynecologists. Don't you think? Girl gynecologists? Sort of gynecologists? I don't know. What do you think? I don't think Aaron would want to speak with him. Ha ha. Oh, really? Yeah, probably not. Probably because I've never had a need for a gynecologist. Did you know that at the height of Van Halen, this was a rumor. I don't know if it's true. David Lee Roth hired a gynecologist to travel with them to check out all the women that wanted to be shaking hands with him so he wouldn't catch anything. Isn't that weird? So I guess guys do hire gynecologists. There's at least one example. And Rose Thistle Art says he has a YouTube channel of his name with no spaces. He's on the Cryptid Hunters frequency. Okay, Cryptid Hunters. And then Rose Thistle Art says, LOL, Cap78 Pack. Hi, good to see you. And Skylark says, I think I watched part of webcast with Cryptid Huntress once. I didn't get much time for that kind of viewing anymore. Cryptid Huntress is probably someone I need to pay more attention to, but I get no time anymore. he sounds like a very busy guy. We're so glad that you carved out some time for us, buddy. We appreciate it. And then Rosa Solart has a smiley face, an otter, and a leopard. Look at that. How do you find these things? I don't know how you find all these things. That's pretty cool. Someday I'll learn how to use the intranet. Then I said, hi, Rose Thistle Art. And then Kathy puts this out. Please like and share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Yes, it helps the algo rhythm and the algo beat and the algo melody. Oh, yeah, all those algo things. And then Rosa Slart says, Barry was on her channel this morning talking about the UFO in Greenland. Oh, really? UFO in Greenland. Cap 78 Pack says, otters and beavers have sharp teeth. One prefers wood and the other people? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Right? Wow. Skylark says, I once heard a story about a UFO crash retrieval incident in Greenland a long time ago. I think it was in the mid-1960s, but I'm not sure now. Oh, it's supposed to be hundreds of miles long, says Rose Thistle, covering almost the whole thing. Really? I think Greenland's more than hundreds of miles long, though. It's like 1,000 or something. I don't know. It's pretty big. Or else it's just the stretchy part of the map. The further north you get on that type of map, the bigger things look, but they're not really that big. And as Skylark says, I remember that story was actually depicted in a Flying Saucers comic book a long, long time ago. And then VJ Ha Ja I9X says, what's your name? What is your name? Whose name? My name's Aaron Moriarty. What's yours? And then Rose Thistle Art says, see, that's a sort of techno knowledge that you and Barry would have great conversations over, in my opinion, at Skylark74. Hopefully you meet up on the interwebs some. And we got another friend over here. Oh, why is it doing this? Raiden Gonzalez says, hello. Hi, Raiden. How you doing? And Skylark74 says, a Dell or Golden Key comic book devoted to flying saucer stories taken from the books by Frank Edwards and other authors of the 50s and 60s. Such a wealth of knowledge this Skylark is. And he says, I still have the comic book stored away somewhere, but I would have difficulty finding it now. Yeah, me too. So much stuff. That's the thing. Stuff gets put away and it's on the bottom box, and then you try to get to it and all the other boxes tip over. It's always something. All right, well, looks like we're all caught up there on Chatlandia, folks. So let's cruise on over to, and we're going to go to X tonight first, I believe. Let's cruise on over to X and see what the heck is going on over there. And you can see there's our thumbnail tonight for tonight's show. Of course, it's one of these tridactyl beings, meaning 3 fingers and 3 toes. And this is curious because it shows right here on an ancient, I guess right here on this ancient cup from Peru, a picture of a creature on all 4s, 3 fingers, 3 toes, and a crazy looking head and a couple of spines coming out the back and a long tail. Well, he's got a long tail, and he has one spiky thing, but I think he's supposed to have 2. One was broken off when they retrieved him out of the dirt. There's another one that has 2. So that's very interesting. They're finding old artwork from the area from way back that depicts these characters. And if you look at the pottery, here is one of these guys in 3D. I mean, it almost looks like a reptilian monkey. So maybe these, and like he's holding the cup, maybe they were like reptilian servant monkeys of sorts. for these people. Because there's a lot of artwork from way back in antiquity there in Peru that shows these three-fingered, three-toed creatures all over the place on watery, all kinds of things. So very interesting. And I would not be surprised if some of them are still living today somewhere deep underground or in some hidden valley somewhere. Hidden Valley Ranch dressing. Maybe that's where they're hiding. Breaking news, Big Pharma has attacked our fenbendazole in cancer paper. They have now retracted our fenbendazole paper using a fraudulent excuse. You can read it yourself. Nothing wrong with the paper. The attack is directly aimed at me for helping 8,000 plus cancer patients. Wow. Yeah, well, Big Pharma, they're going to throw up any roadblock they can for that because that's their bread and butter, cancer. They go to bed every night praying that cancer will keep going and get worse for people so they can make more money. That's just what they do. And it's sad. It shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. You know, I think that especially for medical papers, they should design an AI scrubber bot that goes and looks at all of the health claims on these papers that are newly put out and give a little quick estimate rundown and say, you know, this looks like it's legit or this looks questionable. And then if the AI says it looks okay and then a doctor says it doesn't look okay, then they should probably have some kind of mechanism that finds out where that doctor is getting money from or if he's being communicated by the Big Pharma to do this. And it's disingenuous. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Here's Nick Shirley. President Trump just posted this fearless woman in Dearborn, Michigan, telling Nick Shirley Islam must be repelled. Let's listen to this.
What brings you out here today?
Well, I want to support the Americans in their free speech.
Where are you from?
I'm from the UK, yes.
Okay.
I'm from
So
Wales.
what are you doing here in Dearborn, Michigan right now at a protest about the rise here inside of Dearborn, Michigan in the United States?
Given that I'm from the UK, I've seen the fall of Europe, I've seen the fall of the UK. There's 82 Sharia courts in England and Wales, and I do worry that it is becoming too popular too fast, and we need to definitely have conversations about it.
Why do you think Islam is becoming so popular right now? It's the fastest growing religion in the United States.
I would say birth rates. They outbreed us in every aspect.
And what did you see in your home country, in the United Kingdom and Wales, with the rise of Islam?
I see white guilt and colonizer guilt. I see people self-censoring and the government not standing up for the people that have been there for generations.
How many more years do you give the United States until it's a bigger issue here with Islam and Christians per se?
3 to 5 years. But for me, I saw it when I was 12 or 13, and I left the UK when I was 18 for this exact reason.
And how do women feel in Islamic towns like such as the one you left, or that was growing to become an Islamic town?
I felt extremely unsafe. Actually, we had police officers come into our school and say, this area of Wales is now going to be a no-go zone, so don't go there if you're a female. And I thought that's ridiculous. I come from a long line of Celtic people, and we should feel safe walking through our towns and our villages.
So do you think eventually women won't feel safe walking through their own towns here in the United States?
I already feel unsafe walking through here. I have 2 bodyguards with me today. Yeah, I don't feel safe here.
Wow. That says a lot. We need to get all those people out. And I think Trump is the one to do it. I can't see any other person having the kahunas to do that. At least not on the horizon. And Sparks N1, Minnesota House files 4 articles of impeachment against Tampon Tim. Well, good. Oh, that's good. I think Tampon Tim should look at that face. Who would ever vote for a guy like this? Look at this sad sap. He just looks like he looks like an idiot, which he is. No offense. Offense Fence mentioned there. Fence intended. No offense, offense intended. And Matt Van Swall something says, I have to say something. This family is living in the nightmare all of us who speak out against the left's insanity fear. My family got swatted. We can no longer get delivery orders at our home because the left harassed us for weeks with midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., pay at door deliveries with instructions that said, bang on the door as loud as you can. We had to put signs on our home that said, we are being pranked, no deliveries. We almost sold our home, moved because things got so bad. We get demonic, violent, horrific threats every day. This is so sick. The left never has to deal with any of this, only the right. And this bears repeating. I am a brand new conservative. I did not publicly support Trump until January 2025. We got swatted in March. Yes, you read that right. Why is it only our side that's getting attacked? Why is it that I'm scared that something bad is going to happen to me or my kids when we go into any public place? Why is it that I can't tell people where I go to church because I'm scared my church will be targeted by violent people? Why do I have to hide so many aspects of my public life for fear of being harassed and targeted? And for the love of God, why does it only happen to one political aisle, one side of the political aisle? Please open your eyes, and we are at the crossroads. There is a reason people feel emboldened to target conservatives, and that's because they are not held accountable. Exactly. I am so tired of being scared. It's so sad to read. The measures we have taken to protect our families since publicly coming out as conservatives is so insane. We shouldn't have to do that. No one should ever have to take security measures for just support a president who won the popular vote. But that is where we are. It has to stop. Please make it stop. Yes, and look at that. This poor kid's going to be traumatized from the people yelling at him. So sick. So sick. Nick Shirley. I'm here today to speak on behalf of hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. Here he is saying that.
Mr. Shirley, you're recognized for your opening statement.
Awesome. I'm here today to speak on behalf of all hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens here inside of the United States. I've helped bring to light widespread fraud that's happening inside our nation, and we the people have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters. That's no big deal. As I speak here, I want to ask everyone a question. How much do we trust when we pay our taxes it's going to benefit our nation? People erupted during the Boston Tea Party over just a few percentages as they believe they were being taxed without representation. Nowadays, we have the representation, but do we trust our representatives? My name is Nick Shirley, and I made a 41-minute video that I posted on platforms like X and YouTube. My video received over 100 million views, and it created instant change within our government. As the federal government launched investigations and departments such as Health and Human Services rose over $185 million in child care funding until businesses can prove they are legitimate businesses. I actually became aware of the fraud that was happening in Minnesota in June of 2025 as I was there for a separate video, and Minnesotans started reaching out to me, asking me if I was making a video on the fraud. I said, well, what fraud? And this lady, she was a real estate agent, and she says, well, I'm having a hard time selling my properties because people are curious about these assisted livings that are popping up next door to some of the houses that we're buying, or the home health care clinics that are popping up, and we don't know who's next to these houses that we're trying to sell. And I said, well, I'm not going to come and make a video if I don't have any proof. So therefore, I left Minnesota, and I continued to look for fraud in the best way I could. And as I was getting my own information, a man by the name of David reached out to me, and he said, hey, I have been investigating this fraud for years now. I have been driving by these child care centers. I've never seen a single child, and I have received the information from the state of Minnesota as to how much money these places are receiving. I said, great, let me come to Minnesota and we'll make this video. about potential fraud that was taking place inside of Minnesota. We go to a daycare, and I'm instantly surprised by what we see. We arrived, and it was an industrialized building, and there was 2 daycares registered at that building. And the first thing I noticed is all the windows are blacked out, and there's no footprints in the snow of any children. There's no.
I think we've heard the rest of this. Thanks, Nick Shirley. You're doing an awesome job. Give yourself a raise. And then Benny Johnson, House Oversight Chair James Comer drops a scorching opening statement before the vote to hold the Clintons in contempt for ignoring subpoenas. Yeah, this is good. So he's the leader or the head, or what do they call it over there in the House? And he's the Republican leader, and this is the Democrat leader, and that's him right there. Let's listen to a little bit of this.
Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform meets to advance 2 resolutions recommending that the House of Representatives find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with duly issued subpoenas. The committee does not take this action lightly, but subpoenas are not mere suggestions. They carry the force of law and require compliance. Former President Clinton and Secretary Clinton were legally required to appear for depositions before this committee. They refused. As Democrat Ranking Member Garcia stated,
Here he is.
and I quote, "Defying a congressional subpoena is highly illegal," end quote. He also stated, and I quote, "No one is above the law."
He looks.
Actions have consequences. 6 months ago, Republicans and Democrats on the House Oversight Committee's Federal Law Enforcement Subcommittee unanimously approved deposition subpoenas for the Clintons by voice vote as part of our investigation into the federal government's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell criminal cases. More than 5 months ago, I issued those bipartisan subpoenas. The Clintons' testimony is critical to understanding Epstein's sex trafficking network and the ways he sought to curry favor and influence to shield himself from scrutiny. Their testimony may also inform how Congress can strengthen laws to better combat human trafficking. Since issuing the subpoenas, this committee has acted in good faith. We've offered flexibility on scheduling. The response...
Comer needs a lot tougher. A lot tougher. Like when he put this up, he should have turned to him and said, "You're going to vote for this, right? These are your words." Yeah, he needs to be a lot tougher. That's my opinion. And I guess the vote came down and Hillary Clinton is in contempt, but not Bill. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, I don't know. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, and here's what she says.
It's important to note that the reason why the files have been delayed in release is because of Judge Paul Engelmeyer in New York. This judge specifically ordered the SDNY to do a second review and for those documents to then be certified by U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton. So if you want to get mad at someone, look no further than Judge Paul Engelmeyer, who then also at the same time just denied Massey and Ro Khanna's motion to master. So we can argue back and forth all day long about where the files. I want to see the files too. I want everyone to come in and answer questions. But look no further than this person. By the way, this person is not a Democrat or Republican. I think this person actually might be an independent. But if you're wondering where the files are at, that is the truth of the matter. That's it. As soon as those files come out at the DOJ, we're going to get them. And by the way, I will remind people that weren't here earlier, Todd Blanche will get on a phone call with people here. And after this, I'm going to go walk over Todd Blanche's cell phone number to Chairman Garcia and to Chairman Comer so they can both get on a call. I think it's important to open dialogue, okay? But the point is that we have to know the facts, and those are the facts. So look no further than Judge Paul Engelmeyer. Again, he's the one person that appointed the review, a second review, and then once those documents are then reviewed, then it goes to the DOJ. But you can't fast track the process.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of people who do not want those to come out. They're going to drag their heels, and everyone thinks it's Trump. Demanded they be released a long time ago already now. Here, Trump drops a truth bomb. Listen to this.
It could be more than $19 billion. Can you believe that? That's just one state. If we were able to cut out 50% of the fraud, 50%, and we should be able to do better than that, we would have a balanced budget without having to talk about even growth. So we have a lot of that. That's a big deal. It's not just the protests, the fake protests done by agitators and, professional. It could be
Professional insurrectionist. They cut him off. Gunther Eagleman. Gonzalo Chavez. He's representing these tridactyl mummies down in Peru. And look at these. We've released new images called Anatomy, dedicated to outlining the anatomical similarities and differences between humans and tridactyls. It highlights over a dozen distinct features, ranging from subtle details like vascular markings to more obvious differences, such as completely different nasal structures. And no ears. They have no ears. They just have a hole in the side of their head. Kind of like what they say that aliens have. Isn't that interesting? I'm not saying they're aliens. I'm just saying, oh, this is so good. Watch this. This is so funny. He's a great singer. Such a good laugh. She's so annoyed at first, and then she's so hilariously amused by it. Let's watch it again really quick. Annoyed. So good. Oh, and here is that Nazca mummies. Wari Harari culture, Peru, circa 500 to 1000 CE. Vessel with depiction of a quadrupedal tridactyl being reminiscent of the Cuda bifurca incerta Nascanus specimen named Piesqua quara. All right. Like we said in the intro here, he's on all fours here. Kind of like maybe like a monkey force sometimes. But I think these are reptilian. They have eggs inside them. They're probably not mammalian. And you see the spines on his back, and he's got a tail that goes down. Wow. And here's of course, the 3D version of it, holding a cup. That's why I think, well, maybe these were servants. Maybe they trained them to fetch them things out of the prehistory fridge. Exploding trees from max velocity are possible in the Midwest and Friday and Saturday, as temperatures are forecasted to fall 20 degrees below zero. I've lived in 50 and 60 degrees below zero. I don't recall trees ever exploding. However, even in this house, when it gets really cold, I hear loud cracking sounds. I don't know what that is. Something. It's kind of concerning, but what are you going to do? There's a cracking sound. You never know. Cat Turd puts this out. Cat Turd shares Donald Trump's post on Truth Social. Macron statement. Macron, Starmer, von der Leyen, you've had a chance, and frankly, you've blown it big time. While Europe drowns in bureaucracy, weak borders, and endless meetings that solve nothing, Greenland is sitting there. Enormous potential, incredible strategic value, totally underused, sad. Under U.S. leadership, Greenland would be great again. Tremendous security, real investment, jobs, infrastructure, strength. Not lectures and paperwork. We build, we win, we protect. America doesn't talk. America delivers. When the U.S. leads, the Arctic is strong, safe, and prosperous. When Europe leads, chaos, delay, and decline. Greenland deserves strength. Greenland deserves growth. Greenland deserves America. The future is bold leadership, and everyone knows who does that best. Yes, DJT. Oh, no record of him showing this? Really? I don't think Cat Turd would post something not true. Maybe he retracted it. I don't know. Gitmo Health is Wealth puts this out. Do you remember when Joe Scarborough killed his intern? In 2001, Joe Scarborough resigned 6 months after re-election to Congress due to rumors he was having an affair with an intern. The dead body of intern Lori Klasustis was then found in his office. Her suspicious death was dismissed as an accident. It was an accident. I meant to kill her and then bring her somewhere else. Oh, bye. And he's on TV and he's a personality. Can you believe it? How can this be that these Democrats can kill people with immunity? And I'm not saying he killed her, but I'd like to see the investigation. Was there an investigation? I feel not. Oh, and Operation Shutdown says, that cat is a good performer. And then Rose Thistle, cat jam. Yes. Joe Scarborough, you need to be in jail or after a fair trial, because this young woman deserves, and her family deserve to know the truth. Scarb, doesn't he look guilty? He looks guilty. And see how close set his eyes are? My dad always said, don't trust any man with close set eyes. And Stacy is right, says, for those who don't know, now you know. Nazis aren't people who deport people for sneaking into a country. Nazis are people who storm churches and harass worshipers and force them to leave. Yes. Yeah. The left is nothing but projection and hypocrisy and cheating. It's all they do. And look at this. Sean Ryan puts this out. I used Grok to write a program that would guess at the URLs for those documents, where those documents were, and scraped from government server about 5,000 documents. Maybe he's talking about. Let's listen to.
We requested through the Freedom of Access Act all of the no-bid contract documents.
You guys have deadlines to turn over documents, which we don't have. No.
It's 7 days.
Nope.
We wanted all of these documents because just because they're only public for 7 days doesn't mean they're not still a public record. And the Mills administration came back and told us they couldn't do it.
I'm a reporter with the Main Wire. I was looking to see if I can schedule an interview.
So I was looking back over some old stories that we did, and I found links to old no-bid contracts. I was like, hold on a second. These are all still on a government server somewhere. I used Grok to write a program that would guess at the URLs where those documents were and scraped from the government servers 5,000 documents that they told me they couldn't give me, all pointing towards no-bid contract spending.
There's this man called Steve Robinson, and he is an alt-right white neo-Nazi.
Oh, you're racist. How could you say that?
Taj was involved in a massive money laundering scheme. They were avoiding Bank Secrecy Act rules.
The amount of wealth that they are extracting from the American taxpayer.
So that's interesting. He used Grok to write a program that would guess at the URLs of the documents he was looking for. Well, Maybe Gary McKinnon can do that. Well, of course, he might be a little gun shy. Or someone interested in UFOs to scrub the internet and try to find out UFO documents. I think that would be interesting. Grok, you are now assigned to do that by the greater good. Thank you very much. We the people. Thanks, Grok. I know you're listening. And Jack Posobiec put this out. Breaking entire crowd rises at Davos for President Trump. Why wouldn't they? Oops. Oh. Yep. The president that made common sense cool, right? Amazing. See, you can just use common sense and become a very popular politician. Gunther Eagleman, our GOP is committing political suicide. Pass a SAVE Act or face the death of democracy. Elon Musk, he shares Elon Musk's post. Unfortunately, there are 8 Republican senators implicitly opposed to passing the voting integrity law, as it would require ending the filibuster. But perhaps public pressure will change their mind. They will be responsible for the death of democracy if they don't change their position. I cannot think of a worse legacy. He's right. Oh, and I live in Wisconsin, so here's Johnny Midnight, Wisconsin's WisVote voter database for 2020 election. It listed a staggering 7.1 million registrants, even though the state had only 4 million eligible adults. Oh, it's a little bit overcounting, don't you think? And it gets worse. Of those 4 million adults in Wisconsin, not all are registered and not all vote. Isn't that scary?
Rarely goes down. It drops slightly when they sent out the 4-year postcards, and then it shot right back up, and it's the highest that I've ever seen it.
Goes up every year. The vote 7.1 million. There's only 4 million eligible adults, and they don't all vote, or they're not all registered. Think about that. That's almost twice as many as there is real. That's disgusting. Nazca mummies. Dr. Ketsuki Yuchao examines CAT scans of eggs inside Nazca mummies. Eduarda. Something inside the eggs.
CT で見ていただくと、この全部見て、これ全部骨なんですけども、骨と全く同じ、信号で映ってます。予想されるのはカルシウムとかを大量に含んだような成分であることが推測されますね。
Isn't that interesting? So look at that. Oh, here's the what's inside the eggs. Still solid, so the inside is water or air. It should be pitch black. It's filled with the same ingredients as the egg-shaped something. Well, they're eggs inside a mummy that's been mummified for 1,800 years and looks a lot like E.T., doesn't he? Maybe he phoned home a little bit late. Got a late charge. Phoned home a little late. Some more analysis by some real doctors. Interesting. Here's the live press conference in Switzerland, the Davos. If you haven't heard it, it's a brilliant speech. Go watch it. Finding someone not guilty, Elon Musk says, by reason of insanity and then releasing them onto the streets to murder innocent people is utterly insane. New shocking details emerge in this triple homicide out of Florida. Let's listen to this.
Story at 5:30 tonight. 3 men murdered in cold blood in Kissimmee. Today, we're getting our first look at the victims, who police say were just randomly shot. Their families tell us they were here in town for the Meekum Car Show. And Fox 35 is investigating why the suspect was out on the street walking free.
Yeah, he was charged with attempted murder back in 2021, yet there he was on the streets. Fox 35's Marie Edinger joins us live with this one. So, Marie, what's the latest on what you've uncovered?
I talked with several neighbors today. They told me they were surprised about Ahmaud Boja's arrest, but not that surprised. They said there were cops coming to his house all the time over the years. They did tell me, though, that hearing he was let out after shooting somebody just a few years ago made them uneasy. Now they're worried he'd be let out again using the same defense. In audio provided to Fox 35 by someone living near the shooting, you hear 19 gunshots.
Wow.
Those are the shots that killed 3 tourists over the weekend, Douglas and Robert Kraft and James Pukin. Deputies were on scene today still, gathering evidence from the home of the accused shooter, Ahmaud Boja.
Wow.
This wasn't Boja's first time being accused of trying to kill someone.
How crazy
he
he
was arrested
looks.
in 2021 for shooting up a Wawa gas station near his house. A man was hit several times and nearly killed, and Lutfola Normatov's car was hit 9 times.
The person shoots once in the public. Who knows? He's gonna shoot again.
But Boja spent less than a year and a half locked up. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity. I talked with the former chief judge of the Ninth Circuit about that. My understanding is that insanity pleas are actually kind of difficult to win. Has that been your experience?
Very difficult to win. Those defenses are seldom bought by juries.
But Boja didn't have a jury. The state attorney's office and Boja's defense attorney agreed to skip a jury trial and let a judge make the ruling solo. They also stipulated for Boja to get outpatient treatment instead of being committed to a state mental health facility.
Somebody needs to be asked, what did they base that stipulation on?
The statute on involuntary commitment after an insanity plea requires that the defendant be found manifestly dangerous to himself or others. The court said Boja didn't meet that criteria, so instead he lived at his parents' home and went to check-ins at a behavioral health care facility called Park Place. In a letter to a judge in 2020, Boja's father wrote one of Boja's brothers sought treatment at that same facility for bipolar schizoaffective disorder, saying he spends most of his time in the garage screaming, sometimes laughing.
Wow.
Park Place told me in a statement today, while confidentiality prevents us from discussing specific cases, we want to ensure the public we will cooperate with law enforcement as they continue their investigation. Park Place Behavioral Health Care Center is committed to providing high-quality ethical care, and we take seriously the well-being of all who are in our care and our community. Judge Perry Jr. told me Boja could plead insanity again and seek outpatient treatment a second time.
Some expert, in my opinion, would be hard-pressed to come in with that factual basis saying that he doesn't pose a danger to himself or others.
Judge Perry Jr. says it's more likely Boja would be committed this time. That would get reviewed every year until a court finds him cured of his mental illness.
No, lock him up for good. Piece of crap. Piece of crap. Oh, this is great. Scott Besson. Holy crap. Scott Besson just pummeled Gavin Newsom in Davos. Did you hear this? Listen to this. This is great.
I think it's very, very ironic that, Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros. And Davos is the perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry. And I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Let me know if you need any further clarification.
Let me know if you need any further clarification. Shadow of Ezra, World Economic Forum elites openly admit that chemicals are being sprayed into the atmosphere to cool the planet, into the food supply. One insider admits most of these operations are handled by the military, carried out quietly and behind closed doors. James O'Keefe. Go check out that. That's pretty interesting. Elon Musk. Anyone who prevents fraud investigation is in on the fraud. Yes. Andrew Follett. In 2 previous elections, Spanberger was about to lose. Mysteriously, a flash drive with statistically implausible number of Dem votes appeared. And boom, she won. Wasn't she the ex-CIA person? I think they have enough people that could help her get in there that way. Clandestinely, you might even say. Gunther Eagleman, wow, the truth bombs being dropped by DHS officials at this presser are going to drive the left crazy. Let's listen.
Greg. Good afternoon. My name is Marcos Charles. As Greg introduced, I am the Executive Associate Director for ICE Enforcement Removal Operations. Thank you for joining us. We announced the current status of Operation Metro Surge. As you know, the Department of Homeland Security has arrested over 10,000 illegal aliens in Minnesota since President Trump took office. Over the weekend and through yesterday's holiday, ICE arrested 113 illegal aliens in Minnesota. Some of the criminal aliens that were arrested, whose photos you see beside me on the monitor, include an illegal alien gang member from Laos with convictions for homicide and robbery, an illegal alien from Laos who's been convicted for sodomizing a 12-year-old girl and sexual assault, an illegal alien from the Marshall Islands who has 24 criminal convictions, including assault, domestic abuse, and theft. There's an illegal alien from Honduras convicted of 3 DUIs who has also been arrested for kidnapping, robbery with a dangerous weapon, and possession of a stolen firearm. An illegal alien from South Africa convicted of violating a restraining order and arrested for domestic violence, assault, meth possession, and DUI.
And he goes on, yeah, these are the people that these leftards are trying to keep in their neighborhoods because they're stupid. Cat Turd put this out. Big Country reposted this, or posted this, replying to Cat Turd. This was put out as part of the book handout at the White House press conference today. This is freaking hilarious. These are like the accomplishments. Number 243. Stripped notorious crackhead and grifter Hunter Biden of his taxpayer-funded Secret Service detail. That's one of the accomplishments. Yes. And that's the least they could do, right? And breaking the white coat waste just uncovered a massive biosafety breach. Did you hear about this? Oh my goodness, listen to this, what this guy says.
We recently, last week, exposed how Jay Bhattacharya, NIH director, just gave another $2 million to a new bat lab being built at Colorado State University to provide animals for infection studies, both at Colorado State and, as you mentioned, the Rocky Mountain Lab. Now, the Rocky Mountain Laboratory in Montana is run by Fauci's former NIH division, the National Institutes for Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And it's very infamous. Rocky Mountain Lab is where ticks were weaponized with NIH and DOD to spread Lyme and other diseases back in the 50s and 60s. More recently, White Coat Waste exposed how a couple years prior to the pandemic, the Rocky Mountain Laboratory was cloning coronaviruses that Peter Daszak and the Wuhan lab were finding out in bat caves in Wuhan. They were cloning those viruses at Rocky Mountain Laboratory. And then these are the same viruses that the Wuhan lab was doing gain of function with and putting spike proteins in around the same time. So Rocky Mountain Lab, very sordid history, doing the most dangerous experiments in the country: Ebola, plague, anthrax, lots of different hemorrhagic fevers that have no cure and have 90 to 95% kill rates in people. So we've been following the money of the Rocky Mountain Lab because this new Colorado State Bat Lab is going to be supplying bats to this facility. Now, what we just uncovered is that in November 2025, so just a couple months ago, quietly, the NIH posted a biosafety report from Rocky Mountain Lab indicating that a select agent, now select agents are very deadly pathogens that are serious health concerns for both humans and livestock. These are things that are used as bioweapons and can be used as bioweapons. Things like ricin, anthrax, Ebola, tularemia. And the Rocky Mountain Lab's report just has a very benign item, if you didn't know what you were looking for, that says in November, in the middle of November, one of these pathogens was either accidentally released, lost, or stolen from this NIH-funded bioagent lab that participates in dangerous animal experiments with the military. So we don't know exactly what that agent was and what happened, but we do know that there was a serious biosafety breach at one of the most dangerous biolabs in the country.
That is so sick and so sad. They should never, you know what they should do? Anyone, there's got to be documentation, who's doing this, who is responsible. All the people who did it and responsible should be executed after a fair trial. There needs to be serious consequences for messing around with these horrible pathogens that could wipe out the whole planet. Should never be touched. Should never be doing that. Oh, this is so funny. This is hilarious.
You know, I found out the hard way the last time that I tried this. And I haven't seen this done with any other sodas before. And I just don't think it's going to be as crazy. You know, I found out the hard way the last time that I tried this.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. She learned from the last time she tried. She didn't learn, folks. Oh, Aaron, please save and share this show offline. Keep it safe. Well, they're all will always be on Rumble, so that's where you can find it. Unchanged. If it's going to be censored, it'll be censored on the YouTube side. They censor a lot. I have to go back and just erase a bunch of music and a bunch of stuff every time I do a show. It's kind of annoying. And Jay Buying says they have to create the deadly virus so they can sell the vaccine for it. Yeah, well then, that should be highly illegal, and people should be hung for that. They should sell pay-per-view tickets to watch the hanging, and do it publicly, and let it be known that you do this kind of work, we'll hang you. Okay, that might deter a few people. This woman is so funny. I love the subtle foreshadowing. Yeah. All right. Who had Don Lemon on KKK charges on MLK Day? Right? Who had Don Lemon on KKK charges on MLK Day. Wow. That is pretty darn interesting. I love this meme. This meme, you see this picture here, it's always going to be a good meme because like this is. Wow. That's just amazing on so many levels. Hopefully there'll be some accountability, and other people who tried stuff like that will think twice before they do. Oh, this is great. He unlocked a new way to walk the dog. Look at that. That's cool. Isn't that cool? Look at that. It looks like he's riding it, but he's not. He's got rollerblades on, and the dog is the propellant there. Look at that. How do they slow down? That's what I want to know. That's pretty fun. Pretty fun. Hear me out. M2 put this out. Hear me out. ICE agents pose as blue-haired libtards driving illegals to safety. So the aliens get in the van voluntarily. Yeah, do that. That's pretty good. I like that. A great meme. James O'Keefe, look at that wig he's got on. World Economic Forum.
So right behind me is the Post Hotel. I'm going to go in there.
He's in Davos. Look at this guy.
Laser light comms, dark panels. That company, do you have that company in your portfolio that does artificial rain?
Artificial rain?
There might be people around me that you can select to have information on that.
Go black rock behind us.
You know, put sulfur dioxide there is actually a pretty cheap way to cool down the earth.
Oh yeah.
Let's say
aluminum oxides in my lettuce. Are you kidding me? Cocktail that they're spraying above our heads.
Yes.
Let's go.
They noticed your wig.
Someone noticed a wig, so we have to get the hell out of here. How you doing, sir? And I support the work.
Don't you love it? It's a long video. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but check it out. From James O'Keefe, infiltrates Davos World Economic Forum. Carbon taxes, weather modification, and chemtrails. How do you like that? So cool. Nick Sorter, just in. Commander Bovino just fired Tim Walz and Mayor Fry for their heated rhetoric, anti-ICE and Border Patrol rhetoric.
For too long, residents have been told that enforcing our nation's immigration laws undermines public safety. In reality, the opposite is true. When the law is not enforced, violent offenders remain free. Criminal networks expand, and the community pays the price. Our neighbors, our citizens, our friends pay the price. Rather than confront that reality of which I've just spoken, leaders like Tim Walz or Mayor Fry have relied on heated rhetoric and accusations that distract from the facts. For too long, residents have been told that enforcing...
Yes. Oh, breaking. The FBI just served subpoenas to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry. Yes. Oh, look at this. How the animal skeleton looks like. Okay, this is an animal. Can you guess what animal this is from the skeleton? Can you guess what animal this is? This is why when you look at dinosaur bones and they go do a drawing or a rendering, it's probably not so accurate a lot of times. But look at this. What do you think it is? This is how scientists would recreate the animal to look like that. What is it? Well, guess what it is? It's a bunny. So the skeleton is not the whole story. There's another whole story that's completely untold by just the skeleton. You cannot tell what an animal looks like just by the skeleton. That's why the pterodactyl beings are so interesting, because they have skin, muscle, tendons, some internal organs, some brain matter from 1,800 years ago. Interesting. Oh, look at this. Bobby put this out. I live in the north and would love one of these Yarbo snow blowers, only $5,000. Okay. Well, you know what? I think this would be kind of cool, except you'd have to worry about the people like these porch bandit people coming by and stealing it. You think, oh, I'll just have the robot do it. I don't even need to go out there. No, you need to go out there to guard it, right? They'll take it. It's and what about all the kids? I guess, when I was a kid, we would shovel a driveway for 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. And we'd be happy. We'd be so happy. We'd be exhausted, but we'd be so happy we got a little bit of pocket change for doing a little bit of work. And I used to think to myself, boy, I can't wait till I get older, and so I can hire the neighborhood kids to do that. Guess what? I've never seen any neighbor kid ever come to the door and offer to shovel. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I do have a neighbor with a plow that does plow the front part of my driveway for me, so that is kind of nice. Very nice. He's a nice guy. Dennis. So there it is. Is it remote controlled? That would be fun, yes. And Cap 78 Pack says, little bunny foo-foo hopping through the forest. Sing it, Elvis Aaron. Yeah. I don't remember the whole song, so I can't help you there, but thanks for the shout out. Oh, you ready for some dad jokes? Here's some dad jokes for you.
Jokes I'm about to tell are not funny, so don't laugh. What do you say if you lose 25% of your roof? Oof. It's not funny. Which fruit loves going on slides? A kiwi. It's not funny. Did you know milk was the fastest liquid on Earth? It's pasteurized before you can even see it. It's not funny.
Not funny.
Don't laugh.
Don't laugh.
What do you call friends you like to eat with? Taste buds. It's not funny. Why did Miss Claus file for divorce? Too many hoes. It's not funny. What's a deer's favorite ice cream flavor? Cookie dough. It's not funny. I recently checked my home insurance policy, and apparently if my blanket is stolen in the middle of the night, I won't be covered. It's not funny. Don't laugh.
I'm laughing. I like the insurance policy one. That's pretty funny. If your blanket gets stolen in the middle of the night, you won't be covered. So funny. Holy smokes. President Trump shocks the fake news with surprise press briefing appearance. Yeah, for over an hour. And he showed all the pictures of the bad hombres that they're, but the leftards are trying to keep in place. Oh, and here we go.
Obama's ICE chief gets an award for 920,000 removals. Trump's ICE chief is called a Nazi. Same guy, Tom Homan, was in charge of it for Obama. Obama deported in 2012 409,000 people. Trump in 2025, 290. Wow. You got to do the math. It's so frustrating because, like you said, they've taken such an anti-Trump administration position that no matter what he does, even if it is in the name of good intentions, the problem is Minnesota is a sanctuary state. So because they're a sanctuary state, they do not cooperate with ICE. They can arrest somebody for a violent crime, have them in jail, and they release them on the street. And so ICE is forced to go get these people in the streets. Obama's ICE chief gets an award for 900.
Isn't that amazing? Obama does way more than Trump. Never is called any names. Trump does the same thing, less, with the same guy. And yeah. What did Jesus really look like? A forensic reconstruction reveals the mystery. Let's watch this. In the Shroud of Turin.
Master, have mercy on me. Go in peace. Your faith has made you well.
Wow. Kind of reminds me, this AI version reminds me a little bit of our friend Dustin Schuda over at something Chariots the Rise. Can't remember exactly what his channel is called. Looks kind of like him. Buckwheat says, men is from Mars, women is from Venus. All those other genders just pulled out of your Uranus. Out of Uranus. Oh, and here's Tina Peters. Here she is right here. She's doing her work. This is where she got a felony for attacking someone. Well, look what she's doing. She's just doing what she's supposed to do. She's bringing that cart through this door here. There's no sound for this. And so she's went through that door, and this woman goes and yanks her out of there. Look at, she pulls her out. Who knows what she's saying? And she just pushes her away and continues her work. And she gets a felony for that? She didn't start it. Hello. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then she just walked out. Unbelievable. She's a nonviolent person. She's never had a crime before in her whole entire life. She's put in there the worst people in the world because there is no low security jail for women or prison. It's the worst. Get her out of there. Get Tina Peters the heck out of there. Oh my God. Samantha Outspoken just dropped the driver POV from the red car. Oh, yeah. The red car that saved Jake Lang. They weren't patriots. They're leftards. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Do you guys know how Jake Lang was carried off by a violent mob the other day, and the only way that he escaped was running up to this red car and asking to get in? Well, the drivers of the red car have spoken out, and they've got some pretty interesting things to say.
So let me give y'all the rundown on what just happened to us in case we do go like viral or whatever the case is.
Oh, we're listening.
This guy, still don't even know his full name. Jake is all I know. See him run up to our car and he's like, "Can I please get in? Can I please get in? Like they hurt me so bad." Da 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 da. So in our head, it's like, oh my God, like was he just attacked by ICE? Like
we thought ICE was after him, so we're like, okay, whatever, like hop in the freaking car real quick.
So they're helping because they thought he was attacked by ICE.
All of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of people coming here and storming us and like beating up the car, ruining the car, pulling this dude out. Like, what is
like
going on?
Surrounding the car.
So that's when you realized it wasn't ICE being the violent ones and attacking an innocent man.
It's just like we saw an injured man, so like obviously we're gonna help because we're not bad people. Literally, the longer we sat there, the longer he fought them off, and the more damage was happening to Leah's car. So we had to leave with him in the car. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And I just go around the block, and I'm like, you know what? Like, you need to get out.
Wait, I thought you said you were good people because you wouldn't leave an injured man on the side of the road in the hands of an angry mob.
What is going on? Like, whose side are you on right now? Because, like, this is not okay.
So to sum up, they thought it was ICE being violent, and they were going to help this injured man because they're good people. But then they found out that the people committing the violence were actually their friends. It's totally fine that they almost destroyed her car. And suddenly they flipped their position, and this man that was hurt is suddenly on his own. All because they disagree with him politically. Just so we're clear, you're not good people.
No. They might have been good people before they transitioned, or before that one transitioned. Oh, man. Yeah, we need the state hospitals open again. Nick Shirley interviews a January 6th political prisoner arrested by Democrats for protesting the stolen 2020 election. Let's listen to this.
You won't believe what this man says.
People don't understand how crazy that was. I didn't understand that people were getting put in solitary confinement and stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Did you spend time in solitary confinement?
1,418 days total incarcerated. I did about a little over 2 years in solitary confinement.
So, like, what's that like in solitary confinement? Like, explain, like, exactly that stuff. Explain, like, the cell, everything like that, exactly how that happened.
Well, it started out so they were under what you would call COVID protocols. DC is a very, very liberal jail, so they were, afraid if you came out of your cell and I breathed on you, I could kill you and all these things, right? So they use COVID protocols to keep us in our cell 23 hours a day, 24/7, like 23 hours a day, 1 hour out a day. And they rotated it. So one day I would come out in the morning, the next day I would come out in the afternoon. So it's actually longer than 24 hours. It would be like 36-hour stints in our cells. They would bring our trays to our doors, give us our food in the cell. We would only come out once every 36 hours. And so I did 2 years without a visitation with my family. They flew me. I'm from Houston, Texas. They flew me from Houston to DC on Con Air. Con Air is a real thing. 2 years, no visits. 2 years, no religious services. They were saying we couldn't receive communion. We couldn't talk to the chaplain.
Isn't that sick? I gotta say good night, Skylark. Skylark's going to bed or has something else to do. Thanks for hanging in. We really appreciate all of your input in the chat. Very nice information as usual. Thanks, buddy. Have a good dream. And yeah, it's so sick how they see. This is why we need accountability, because the conservative people, thousands of them, suffered wrongfully. And those people need to go to jail for a long time. Like Trump is saying right here, these people must be in jail for a long time. Totally rigged election. Tanya, Nevada voter fraud. 42,000 people voted more than once. 1.5 thousand people voted, dead people voted. Yeah, that's 19,000 voted while living outside Nevada. Interesting. 8,000 used non-existing addresses. 15,000 used commercial vacant addresses. 4,000 non-citizens voted. This is why we need the SAVE Act. Nuke the filibuster and pass the SAVE Act. Right? That's right. Oh, this is great. This is why you tuned in. You're going to learn how to make butter from our good friend here, Carter. So let's watch Carter.
Today, we're going to make some butter. The reason why we need to make butter, because look, it's all gone. And it's our first time making butter. It might be a disaster. All we've got to do is put this double cream into the mixer.
He did it.
This is going to take you ages. I'll show you when it's nearly done. It's done. It's turned into butter. Look, it's all stuck in there. You've got to squeeze all the buttermilk out. Look at all the buttermilk. I'm really good at making butter. Now we've got to put it into the water to clean it. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it very well. I'll tell you when it's ready for salt. I'm rinsing it off. Now I'm going to put some salt in to make it nice. I can even squeeze it with my eyes closed. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Now we've got to make it the right shape for our butter dish. Now let's try and put it in our butter dish. And look at that. Look how easy it was to make butter. See you later. Bye.
He's my favorite chef right now. You know that? Butter. Isn't that cute? Too cute. That's pretty good. From Dutch. Carter making butter. That's pretty cute. Just in, journalist Nick Sorter says Americans need to take back the cities from third worlders. Yes. There's that car from those women. No, that's the woman who stole his camera. Different red car. Different red car. Breaking news, 10 arrested after alleged ambush on Texas ice facility. You hear about this? Santa Trump put this out.
Breaking news, the FBI has now arrested 10 people in connection to the alleged ambush at the ICE facility in Texas. They're facing life in prison after being charged with attempted murder, terrorism, and assault with a deadly weapon.
Good.
Officials are reporting that the suspects used graffiti and fireworks to lure agents out of a Texas detention facility and then fired 20 to 30 rounds towards them. A local police officer was shot in the neck but has since been released from the hospital. The local sheriff's office is reporting that some of the suspects were wearing body armor and others tactical gear, while some were covered in mud. Several of them were reportedly armed and carrying two-way radios. Investigators also found flags.
I hope they put them all away for life. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Oh, look at this. Breaking, President Trump stuns the world by posting a photo of him, J.D. Vance, and Marco Rubio planting an American flag in Greenland. He's not taking no for an answer. I think they got a deal hammered out, the basic outline of it. So that's good. We got another state there. Isn't that nice? Donald Trump is the only Republican in my lifetime that plays offense. It's why we love him and the Democrats hate him. Donald Trump shared that from C3. Isn't that nice? Oh, this is good. Watch this.
Hi, can I speak to your supervisor, please?
Yes, how can I help you?
Can I actually speak to your superior?
Oh, sure. Can I have your hands?
Sure.
Okay. God, we come to you today for guidance. For this woman wants to speak to someone more superior, and there is no one more superior than you. May you guide her or take her.
Hi, can I speak to your supervisor?
Guide her or
Yes,
take
how
her.
can I help you?
That is funny. The Christian way to deal with the Karen. That is really, really cool. So you don't have to stoop to their level. You can rise above it and still make your point. Oh, and this is very sad. Did you know Denmark treated Greenland like a colony for decades, even after it stopped being one? In the 1950s, they took 22 Inuit kids from their families, shipped them to Denmark, and turned them into little Danes. Most never went home to their parents. Many suffered lifelong. You hear about this? Only a handful survived long enough for the Denmark's apology in 2020 to 2022. Heartbreaking. Worse, from 1960s to 1970s and into the 90s, in some cases, Danish doctors secretly inserted IUDs, birth control coils, into thousands of Greenlandic women and girls, some as young as 12, without consent. Goal: slow population growth to save money. Half of fertile women affected in peak years, many left in pain, infertile, or unable to have kids. Victims called systematic discrimination. Denmark finally apologized in 2025 and agreed to compensation after lawsuits and investigations. This was real colonial control over bodies. Sickening, sickening. Sickening. Yeah, they don't deserve Greenland for treating them that way. My God. My God. American Now. Okay, let's listen to this gal, what she has to say.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. When the Republicans were saying that illegal immigrants are voting and turning the states blue, I did not believe them. And the reason that I didn't believe them was because I was like, well, you have to have a driver's license. And in order to have a driver's license, you have to have a social security number. And if there were any other government documents that you had to have in order to vote, those also require a social security number. And only American citizens can obtain those. But then I discovered that there are 14 states out of 50 that do not require any type of identification at the polls. For those 14 states, there's an exception where they may be required to show ID. And then in quite a few states also, there are government-issued IDs to non-citizens where they can vote for certain municipalities. And then there are 12 states that require documentation, but no photo ID required. So it could literally be something like a utility bill. And that's not counting the 14 I listed earlier. So we're already over 50% of the entire country that does not have proper documentation to vote. And then there are 9 states that request your photo ID but offer alternative ways to vote like an affidavit. There are only 10 states in America that strictly require photo government ID to vote. The Republicans were not wrong. And this was the source I used in case anybody was curious. It's nonpartisan.
Isn't that sick? Only 10 states. Wisconsin does require photo ID, so I'm glad that our state does do that.
Okay, I'm not going to.
But there's all sorts of chicanery happening. And you know what? I think we're going to, there's a lot more here, but we're just going to leave X. We're going to leave X. And actually, we're going to call it a night, folks. I want to thank you all. Oh, before we do, though, I got to just show you a couple things on the Book of Faces. Okay. Here is our good friend, Anthony Brock. He's battling some of his goats. And he's got a new thing going here. Is he going to win this time? Who's the boss? Let's find out.
Welcome to round 17. Comments want me to fight my meanest goats in a Zorb ball. See who's boss. No. You guys happy now? What's nice? Welcome to round 17. Comment.
Isn't that good? Oh, my. So good. He's going to end up with a lot of... Oh, and Heidi Pop has now moved to Sturgeon Bay. I haven't seen her yet, her and her family yet, because I've been just too sick. I'm getting a lot better now, though. So here's a little video she posted of Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, the same town I live in. Check this out. That's the steel bridge. There are 3 drawbridges, very close to each other, actually. And this is the oldest one from 1932. And it was a used bridge that they got from somewhere else in 1932. So there it is. And Heidi is part of Sturgeon Bay now. Her dad is from Sturgeon Bay, or Door County. And she moved out here from L.A., but unfortunately she did not bring the L.A. weather with her. What's wrong with that? How did that not happen? I don't know. We'll have to ask her. We were looking forward to that. Here's some more of the tridactyl imagery. Check this out. Look at those. So interesting. These were alive 1,800 years ago. And there's so many of them now. And a lot of them are different. There's those eggs. Look at these two characters. Look at that. Look at the teeth in that one. And the tail. Look at that head. That head. The metal implants. Look at that. With all sorts of metal implants. There's some here I've never seen before. Like that one. A coiled up little one. There's the hole they got him out of. Some of them. Underground. They had to dig that far down to find these things. They were mining for something and they found these characters. Look at that face. Does that say alien? Look at metal implant. That's how big these things are. They're not very big. E.T. phone home. They're all a little bit different from each other. Look at that. So there's very many different versions of these things. Oh, look, Skylark is back. Oh, Operation Shutdown says, that guy with the goats is bad to the bone. Yes, he is. And Cap 78 Pack says, yay, Heidi Poppin family, home again. Yes. And she's working for her sister now, so that's kind of cool. That's harsh to move from California to Wisconsin right as the storm is coming, right? She grew up, though, in Chicago, so that's a pretty cold place, too. And they used to come up to Door County to vacation, because that's where her dad was from. And let's see, what else is on here? Oh, here's a couple dogs. Ever wonder what dogs are thinking? Here you go. This is what they're thinking.
They need us for our poop. Huh? Watch that lady. Watch her. See? See? It's like they're collecting it for something.
What do you think they're doing with it?
I think they're using it to make chocolate. Have you ever had a piece of chocolate?
No.
Exactly. They need us for our poop.
Huh?
Watch that lady.
It's probably what they're thinking. Pretty good guess. Not quite right, though. It's just because they don't want to step in it. Oh, here you go. Here's an interview. Now, take notes if you're going to be interviewing in the future, because you don't want to say what this bird is saying in the interview, being interviewed by this mushroom.
What would you say is your greatest strength? I'm very responsible. Can you give me an example? In my last job, whenever anything went wrong, they told me I was responsible. What would you say is your greatest strength?
That's too funny. That's too good. I'm very responsible. Anytime something went wrong, they said, I'm responsible. Oh, 1 year of Trump. Let's take it. Let's take this back here.
No.
Too good. Too good. Too good. Do not shut this woman up. Here's one of her quotes. Under capitalism, man oppresses man. Under socialism, it's the other way around. Oh, really? It's kind of the same thing you're saying. How did she ever learn to mix those drinks when she was a bartender? I don't know. It takes a little bit of brain power, doesn't it? Oh, you hear about this? This cow is using a brush or a broom. Check this out.
A clever cow in Europe is surprising scientists.
Yeah, they were stunned to find out Veronica the cow has been using tools for years. She learned how to use a broom to scratch unreachable parts of her body, a skill only seen in humans and chimps. She's smart enough to use the bristle on her back and the other end of the stick on more tender parts.
Oh my goodness. I could watch this for hours. Too cute. A clever cow in Europe is surprising science.
Isn't that interesting? I think a lot of animals use tools, though. I mean, otters use rocks to break shells open. Birds use all kinds of tools. There's tool making is not just chimpanzees and humans. Let's listen to this.
Every single Democrat voted to raise all Americans'
Taxes.
taxes. I don't know why we aren't covering that. Every single Democrat voted to raise Americans' taxes.
Yeah, they did. Because they're dumb. They're dumb. They dumb. Oh, Trump to convert entire city of Minneapolis into an insane asylum. Good idea. Oh, let's see. Anything else? Oh, this is big news right here. Scientists successfully grew functional kidney tissue from stem cells that filtered blood and produced urine after implantation. Wow. I got to tell Andy about this. Oh, and Andy update. He called me the other day. However, I missed the call a couple days ago. I missed the call. I've tried to call him back and have not gotten a response. So keep your prayers out for Andrew D. Bishago. And hopefully he'll return my call. I'll try calling him again tomorrow. I don't want to call him more than once a day because he does kidney dialysis Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, same days we do shows. So I'll have to tell him about this. He'll be interested to hear that. Anything else funny here? Oh, this is interesting. Is chocolate healthy? Listen to this.
In people in their 60s who have heart disease, giving people 2 cups of hot chocolate made with dark chocolate for a month, every day for a month. And they were able to up to double their stem cells in their bloodstream. And in this chocolate study, they were able to find that dark chocolate was able to recover, reverse, improve damaged flow mediated dilation, vascular resiliency, blood vessel resiliency in 60-year-old people who already had hardened arteries. You can actually get back. Like, this is something that I think should be acknowledged. If you don't do anything about it, you're going to get a chronic disease, but you could actually recover and you can reverse chronic diseases in people in their 60s.
Just eat lots of dark chocolate. Hot cocoa a couple times a day. Sounds good to me. How can you go wrong? How can you go wrong, right? And it looks like Operation Shutdown says we'll keep our prayers going for Andrew D. Bishago. And Rostes Alert says, radiating heart, Andrew. And Cap 78 Pack says, so you show people the truth like Aaron and others are doing. Their loss if they don't want to believe. I think I missed some other post or something. And Kathy says, good night, everyone. And Rose Cecilard says, and now dark cocoa powder is not anywhere to be found. Not in stores, not online. Really? But it's made from cacao. So you get some cacao, you can find that, and just mix up your own hot cocoa. That's what I would do. Kathy says, good night, everyone. Sean David Morton books I referenced earlier have many ideas that parallel parts of Andrew Bishago's story. Mr. Morton is now deceased and cannot answer questions you may have. We need Andrew Bishago's. Yes, we do. Wisdom. Yes. Red light therapy for everyone. There's another one. Rose this alert. Yep. It's the process that makes it dark cocoa. Okay. And then Cap 78 Pack says, yes, we need Andrew's knowledge desperately. Prayers up for Andrew Bashago. And I got to give my little note here. Thank you also very much. Oh, so very much. Exclamation points, because my keyboard's still working. Yeah. Isn't that groovy? Groovy like a record, you might even say. And Operation Shutdown says, I will keep my camera pointed to the sky so I can take a picture of that crazy UFO and come onto the Truth Quest and talk all about it. Awesome. And I said, thank you also very much. And Rosas Lart says, the dark cocoa is processed less and preserves the part that helps the stem cells in us. Oh, I had never heard that before. So that's amazing. Anytime it's something that tastes good, is healthy, I like that kind of stuff. And Cap 78 Pack says, thank you for another great show, Aaron. God bless you. Much love. Peace in worldwide. Yes, thank you. And so Operation Shutdown says, thank you, Aaron. Tonight's show was groovy like a record. Awesome. I like that. All right. You know, we do this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So look for us on Friday at 9 p.m. Central on Rumble and on YouTube. Because we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. So keep your cameras, like Operation Shutdown says, pointed to the skies so you can take a picture of that crazy UFO and come on to the Truth Quest and talk all about it. Because we would love to hear you talk about it. This only has one gravity wave generator. The other ones fell off. But it can still fly. A little wobbly, but it still can fly, allegedly, according to Bob Lazar. And Operation Shutdown also says, peace in, world peace, baby, yeah. Peace in, world peace, baby, yeah. And Skylark says, a twin parallax camera rig would be ideal, but I don't know much about photography. I remember reading that somebody has created a UFO tracking facility, which is privately funded. I heard something about that too. Rose Large says, thank you, Aaron and Truth Questers. You rock. So do you, because you're the Truth Questers. And Skylark says, thank you, Aaron. Well, you're very welcome, buddy. And we'll see you next time on Friday, right around 9 p.m. Central. We'll see you then. Until then, peace in world peace, baby. Yeah. We're coming. It's coming, baby. World peace. Thanks. We'll see you Friday.